Yes, this is Bob, and I want to bring up some events that's been happening at City Hall. The City Hall security has been extremely violent towards activists. They um, ha- had one guy arrested at City Hall, and basically he was sitting there filming the City Hall meeting, and G4S security went up and started using his hands to block the guy Keith Davis's camera. When Keith Davis moved to another location, the security guard followed and put his hands up, blocking Keith Davis's view. Keith Davis stood behind me, and the security guard did the same thing. I went to film the security guard blocking Keith Davis, and he started blocking my camera view, almost touching it. Okay, the lady that runs the security over there um, told Keith Davis he was kicked out. And then they decided to close the meeting so that they could remove him. And it took a little bit, but 3G4S security used a lot of force enough to injure Keith Davis. And he had his hands scratched up, at least 7 scratches on his hands. And it, just shoving on them, pushing on them, and stuff like that. This is really bad when a security company decides, well, we're going to use physical force and attack activists. Okay. Last week, I was filming, and Keith Davis went over just a couple of minutes, and they told him that he was kicked out of City Hall. Actually, not a few minutes, a few seconds. And he was kicked out of City Hall. And the security went up there, and I was sitting there videoing, and then they turned around and said that the meeting's closed, everyone has to leave. So I'm standing there watching these people walk in front of me, these elderly and stuff like that walking in front of me. And I'm standing there. I can't back up because there's a G4S security guard right behind me. I mean, if you couldn't put a toothpick between me and him. You couldn't even put half a toothpick. He was just right there. I could feel him, and I wasn't pleased about that at all. Okay, finally, when I had a chance to move, I did move. I stopped for Joe Walsh so Joe Walsh can get up. He's an elderly man in a wheelchair, and he has oxygen tanks and stuff like that. Like I'm supposed to walk over an elderly man. G4S thinks, yeah, that's the right thing to do. I don't think so. So I got into the hallway, and right after I got into the hallway, they sat there, and there was an argument between a G4S security and a couple of activists filming. And of course, I wanted to go over and see what was going on. I seen another G4S security race over there, and I'm sitting there. All I'm doing is filming. I'm not causing a problem, not causing the scene. And next thing you know, I'm told I'm excluded. Right. So I got up into that guy's face because I couldn't back up because he was standing right behind me. I had chairs right next to me on one side, and I had people going around me on the other. In the front and the other side. So I was sort of stuck. So I waited my turn to be able to leave. And, you know, I brought that to their attention and they really didn't care. It's like, no, you're out. You took too long to get out of there and stuff like that. I didn't see any rules in there that says how long you have to get out of there. Okay. And I do have arthritis in my back. I don't usually try to play the disabled card, but I do. And sometimes it takes me a little longer to get around. I'm bigger than most, so I gotta watch to see where I fit in. I don't want to stumble over some lady or some kid or something like that. That'd be unkosher. But G4S doesn't care. My understanding they did a lot of stuff like that over there when they're guarding the Palestinians in the camps in Israel. Okay, but let's get back onto the subject. So they kicked out 6 people that do filming at City Hall, 6 activists that do filming at City Hall, not just cop watchers, but other activists too. Um, and that's a shame because that was the same day that they were going to have a celebration dinner for Joanne Hardesty. Yep, denying activists their right to go in and question Joanne Hardesty in a celebration. That's what that was about. Okay, so of course I went and filed a tort claim. Everyone likes tort claims. Okay, and so G4S, instead of being nice and calm and stuff like that, decided to show their ass side and go after the journalists. They got 2 journalists in jail, one for standing on the sidewalk using the bullhorn. They got him for trespass. Yeah, he trespassed standing on a sidewalk in front of City Hall. I have no idea how that works, but it works somehow. And the other guy that they decided they want to mess with, Keith Davis, they used brute force on him, grabbing him, pushing him, shoving him. Uh, there was a pushing match, and Keith Davis got injured. His hands got scratched when he grabbed the door and tried to resist G4S. Nobody resists G4S. They're like the Gestapo of City Hall. Um, and if you do, you're putting your life on the line. So basically, what it is the mayor has decided that activists are people that need to get kicked out of City Hall. Okay, and he's going to do it whatever way he can. Um, Last week, activists stood up for Keith Davis and Joe Walsh, saying, "Hey, that's not cool. You can't kick them out. You're a fascist." This week, Joe Walsh and other people were sitting there saying, "Let the guy speak. Let the guy film. Let the guy do what he needs to do." You know, um, and what's crazy about Portland City Hall is that if you want to go up and testify, you got to testify to the subject that's at hand. Now you can go up and testify to something else, talk about something else, but you got to sign up, and it takes about 6 weeks to be able to talk about what you want to talk about. I think that's totally ridiculous. That's not the way our democratic system works, but that's the way it works at City Hall. They've also decided that all these city offices are not city council meetings, so you can't film inside like the auditor's office or risk management and stuff like that, which brings me up to another subject. They mess with Mike Bluehair. Okay, nobody messes with Mike Bluehair. I got a lot of respect for that boy. We went over and filed a tort claim, went into City Hall, got our paper, got the rules of City Council, walked out, told the G4S guy we're going over to file a tort claim. By the time we got to the office and we sat down, about 2 minutes later, the G4S security, which was at City Hall, was all of a sudden 4 blocks away in the office where we were at, saying that we were being trespassed. We had to leave right now, and if we don't, they're going to call the police. Well, call the police they did, because I wasn't going to leave until my tort claim paper was stamped, and I got a stamped copy of it back. I did do that. Okay. So I'm going after the city for kicking me out of City Hall for no reason, violating my rights as a journalist. And also, also going after them for their security thugs who was pushing and shoving me, and one lady said, "Hit me," like I'm really going to hit her. Um, and that's that's a really sad thing, is that you have, in order to try to calm these guys down, you got to turn around and sue them. So yeah, I'm suing I'm going to sue the city of Portland, and I'm going to sue G4S Security because their thugs cannot do what they're doing. It's just totally illegal for them to do it. So stay tuned because, like I said, nobody messes with my buddy Mike Blue Hair. This is Bob with Film the Police signing off.